Oh, hello there. What's up, people? How you doing? Wait a minute. You know what that means? If you're seeing my face and you're seeing this face, that means we live, baby. So y'all know what time it is. DJ, cue it up.
Yeah, highlight. Don't forget the real though. Yeah, yeah. I bet you won't turn me up. What's that you bumping? It ain't vibing hard enough. Hey, no. Check my playlist, guaranteed you ain't hit top. From the indies to the mainstream, bringing all the stuff. Music talks, Fanz, Dwayne, and Janean, run it up. Run it. Huh. Pass that ox. Pass that ox. Hey. Bobby, do you back on the scene? Dwayne and Janean, I'm bringing the facts. They know what I mean. Music comparisons, yeah, it's embarrassing. Up in the Ford, I feel like I'm Harrison. Back on the fast track. Mighty and morphin', my name's Zach. Feel like a gentleman, top of my class.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy. You already know what it is, man. Your favorite neighborhood mediator slash podcast host, your boy Dwayne in the building. And of course, I am joined by my oh so lovely co host, tag team partner, extraordinaire herself. You already know her as the Queen of Clatchits and Miss Bougie Thuggin herself, Janine. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Hola, buenos dias. Hello, everybody.
Muy bien, gracias. Hasta
Oh,
bueno esta noche.
eso.
Yes. The Spanish skills is really good, really good. Yes, muy práctica. No, but ladies and gentlemen, first off, before we introduce our guest, Queen Neen, how you been doing? How's the week going?
Week's going well. I'm trying to prepare for my birthday. I'm a procrastinator, so I think I can get fit in 30 days. I can do it in my mind. I can.
Oh,
So,
can't we? Come
we've
on,
been doing
come on.
a couple of boot camps, know what I
Uh-oh.
mean? Trying to
Uh-huh.
get it's been a struggle
Okay,
because I
okay.
want to, but it's fine.
Yeah, I've been seeing them stories. I've been seeing you in there getting it in. I'm just kind of working up that sweat. So if y'all don't already know, make sure y'all definitely follow my co-host, man. She's always got something exciting to show y'all in her world of stories on Instagram. And of course, again, as she just said, this is her journey into getting ready for the big 3-0. You're getting there,
Yeah.
cuz getting ready to club, special elite club. You know what I mean? So definitely, hey, it can happen. You know what I mean? And we got to get ready because the Queen's birthday is coming up. So you already know a special Pastor Ox turn up is coming for you guys. So you might want to stay tuned because you never know how we celebrate that thing right here on Pastor Ox. But now that we got our cool introductions out the way, you know what I mean? We're here to introduce a guest from this evening. Some of you guys, I don't know if you're a fan of a certain show by the name of Fanz. See what I did there, people. Maybe, just
Wordsmith.
maybe, wordsmith, it comes so naturally. But guys, we have a special guest in the house who was actually able to step in at the very last minute, need I mind, and come in and rep an individual by the name of Chris Brown in a fans battle that took place on last month. So, if you haven't had a chance to check that battle out, by all means, go back and check it out. It is on the OTS Guys YouTube page. All right. So, this man is a very dope gentleman, a dope brother of mine from way, way, way back. You know what I mean? This man is a phenomenal artiste, a phenomenal producer, and an all around great guy who's always full of smiles, joys, and you already know he's anime lover, you name it. I mean, just this guy is literally full of all things, and most important, he is definitely a man of God in ways that you will never imagine when it comes to spirituality and keeping you in positive beliefs. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to you guys to the floor none other than the one and the only Spec-Tacular Spec to
Hey,
Dope. What's up, Spec?
what's going on, man? That intro was phenomenal, man. I appreciate you, dog. I couldn't have
Hey,
said it
brother.
better myself, bro. Like for real.
Hey, man, you know how we do a lot of times on this show. Anytime we got somebody coming on the show, we got to give them a real dope introduction. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's all a part of. You know. Welcome to the show, though. Welcome to be a part of the family and the vibes on tonight, sir. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling real good, bro. Like, I feel embraced almost, bro. That was real warm. That was heartfelt. You feel me?
Oh
For
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
embraced.
Come on, come
Yeah,
on. Let them know,
yeah,
Janine. I mean, Janine, tell them how we do on this thing. You know, when it comes to our guests we bring on, tell them how we do.
It's
yeah,
all love.
yeah.
It's a safe space.
Mm.
We're gonna hype it. If there's one thing about Dwayne, he's gonna hype you up. Like he's the best hype man. He can sell you to anybody. It's
Hey,
Yeah,
amazing.
that's
oh, stop, stop. Listen,
You
listen.
just
I
said
feel like you're selling yourself a little short over there, man, because you know you can do the exact same thing in so many other ways. So, listen, I can't make this possible without this dope co-host right here, ladies and gentlemen. So, allow me and allow us to get on into this thing. We have a segment. The people already know what time it is. Y'all know what we do and how we do it. So Montel style, baby, let's open the floor up and tell the people what's been in your ears.
y'all know I'm all over the place when it comes to what I'm listening to, but I was introduced to an artist who just came up on a playlist randomly, and he was like super soulful, kind of gave me old school vibes, and I realized that he's a white chocolate man, and I was not
Oh.
mm.
expecting that. And oh my gosh, I took a screenshot. Okay,
Damn.
Mac Ayers. If y'all ever heard of him, Mac, last name Ayres, and
Mm.
the song is called "Jumping Off the Moon." So if you haven't heard it, check it out. I want to listen to more of his music, but that one song, I was like, let me add him to the library, and I'm gonna check him out a little bit more. So I was
Okay.
listening to him. I've been listening to a lot of Nipsey.
Okay.
Hey,
Nipsey,
Yeah,
R.P.
oh,
love Nip.
mm.
I don't get stressed, or no, I don't stress.
I
Is
don't
a song that I played on replay. I was like, I don't know why this is speaking to my soul right now, but hey, the the weight on my shoulders makes me great. And I was like, I'm gonna just keep saying that and just keep it pushing. And I listened to Scary Hours 2 by Drake.
Yeah,
If y'all listen to that project, yes, fire.
What'd you think of it, Neen? What'd you think of it?
I don't know when or if Drake is ever going to not be hot, bro. Like every time he drops, it's fire. He knows what to do to stay right on trend, but it's Drake, you know?
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Um, we're definitely gonna get into that a little more at some point for sure. It's good to see because there's a certain song from that very, very mini taste of Drake that
Mm.
people have been talking about all week. So definitely would give to get some thoughts and opinions on that particular track. But Derek, sir, how about you, my friend? What have you been vibing to this week? Who's been in your ears throughout this week, my friend?
Well, I've been doing a lot of cooking and cleaning. So, whenever I get into that bag, I like to go into my old bag. So I was on some Ice Cube, no Vaseline. I was
Mm.
on some Snoop Dogg, some old Snoop Dogg. Yeah, I was on all of that, bro. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Okay. Okay.
This
I
week, bro,
feel
for
that.
sure.
I feel it. I
Sure.
love it, man. I love it. Always good to go into the classic bag, you know what I'm saying? Especially on the West Coast a little bit. Lord knows I've actually kind of been on the West Coast in myself, because I found myself listening to the game, you know what I'm saying, going back and checking out a lot of his catalog, you know what I mean, and catching up on some things. Also found myself vibing to quite a few white soulful like artists, if you will, Janine. Like a little Charlie Puth. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a little John Mayer in there, and I've also throw in my guy Robin Thicke a little bit. Kind of had him jamming randomly for a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, all right, a lot of people forget about Robin a little bit. You know what I mean? Brother was
Right.
was definitely doing his thing. Now I don't know where he been since him and old girl, kind of, went their separate ways. But my boy Robin Thicke had the juice. I don't know if when he just left him and Paula Patton, I don't know when they just kind of went their separate ways. I don't know. Maybe he lost the juice or something. I don't know. But from the times of when he was in that bag, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was kind of nice to revisit some of them songs and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, been vibing to a little bit of that and been jamming to the soul soundtrack as well, man. In my jazz bag a little bit. I really liked how awesome Disney movie for sure, and the soundtrack is just as awesome as the movie. But you got to be a real appreciator of jazz to really get into it. You know what I mean? Like if you really love jazz, then you're gonna love that soul soundtrack. And yeah, man, just been killing it through like that. Just kind of a real smooth week. You know what I mean? But that about sums that up for sure. So let's go ahead and see if my co-host here knows of anything exciting that happened entertainment wise within this week. Has anything significant happened this week, Cuzzo?
Yeah, I don't know if this is exciting as much as it is like, damn, another one. But All Star Weekend was here in Atlanta this weekend. So like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists came out to perform at different events.
Mm-hmm.
And a Texas rapper came out, Chucky Trill,
Mm-hmm.
and ended up getting into a shootout type of situation on 85 Jimmy Carter, which is right down the street,
Oh
and
wow,
passed away, unfortunately.
man,
Man,
And
my
that makes me think of like, we hear a lot of how these out of town rappers come to Atlanta and like drama happens or they get shot or they get killed. And I'm wondering, is it at Atlanta or is it the bullshit that outsiders are bringing into the city that's
right,
causing this drama?
right. Mm.
that's a good question. Because we actually, I believe, talked about this a little bit in last week's news with the shootout that happened with Roddy Rich and all of them during a video shoot. So lately, it seems quiet. You wouldn't think, again, with just pandemic and everything like that, you wouldn't think a lot of the things in the streets were happening as much.
Please,
But yeah, apparently not. Like these
lit.
beefs are still out here, and there's a lot of people who are really doing some things. So it's very interesting to see, and I really am curious to know why why now, you know, to have all this thing, is the pandemic making everybody just go even more bananas, or is it just too much flexing for the gram? What do you think?
Definitely too much flex. And we were just talking about secret Negro meetings earlier. And I just feel
Yeah,
like everybody wants to be heard and seen, and you're just doing too much. So, like, I feel like whatever energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. I feel like Atlanta is one of those cities where whatever you come here looking for, you're going to get. So, if
Mhm.
you're coming here to be on some rah rah type shit, you're gonna get that. But if you're coming down here to have a good time and vibe out, you're gonna get that too.
yeah,
Man, I'm telling you, it's you gotta love that though. I mean, it's interesting, but yet one of those things that we're gonna just wonder about. Like again, beef just never seems to die in terms of the streets, and people, we just got to be careful. Got to be careful with who you hang around, who's your clique. What type of flexing you
definitely.
doing on the ground. Spec, you got anything to add on top of that of what you see with these rappers and how they just
Not really add. I guess my question would be, and I guess this is a question for myself as well. Is like, you know, when you say it's too much flexing on the ground, to what degree do we expect the artist to shine opposed to being modest? And
mm,
to what degree does it make it safe and unsafe?
Yeah,
Because for me, as a creator, when I think of, you know, the way that I want to do things and the image that I want to uphold, of course, I want it to be a little bit flashy and creative, just the things that you see that the normal artists do and things of that nature. But at the same time, these are the same things that's causing them to be attacked and assassinated.
Target. Yeah.
So you
Mm.
right, it's kind of a question mark on like how much of this and how much of that, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think when I think flexing, I'm more so like, of course, like, okay, I've worked hard, so I want to share my successes. Like, that's one thing. But my flexing is more of like, you have beef with somebody, you or your crew may have acted upon said beef, and now you're wanting to talk about it and broadcast it. So now, not only are you telling on yourself, but the other party involved now feels like, oh, they're trying me because they're talking about it. So now I have to retaliate even harder. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, now you
yeah.
war. Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
One upsmanship, man. You got. Come on, peoples. You know, but I get it. You know, one thing about rap is when they say it's a young man's game. You know, a lot of times you get young minded and stuff like this happens. So stay safe, y'all. Stay safe, literally, not just because of the pandemic, but stay safe in what you're doing in the streets. You know what I mean?
In these streets,
Yeah, man.
man.
Young black men, we can't be going through this all the time. You know what I mean? But in other news, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Brown calls out Quavo and Jack Harlow after they won their basketball tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, as you
Man,
know, All Star Weekend in Atlanta. You know, it's that time of year. You know, it's a little different this year with how they did things, but you know, normally you have the celebrity basketball game where, you know, celebs come out and do their thing, and everyone's no stranger to the fact that Quavo was a hoop artist. You know, you've seen him in the celebrity games in the past couple of years, pre-pandemic, of course. And Chris Brown, Breezy, you already know, another you know, athletic individual who also in his own right, you know, got a little game on him, you know, and Jack Harlow is probably the most surprising out of all of these in terms of how much game he's got. But
I was
um,
you,
shocked.
but shortly after Quavo and Jack earned the W, Chris Brown weighed in on his Instagram story, implying, and this is compliments referenced by Double XL magazine. Shout out to them as the source. They implied the duo didn't want any smoke with him on the basketball court. They know who not to ask for that 2-on-2 basketball, Chris posted. I would have cooked Quavo and Jack on the court. On my
Ooh,
soul. Guess they wanted a
they,
smoke-free
oh,
zone. And so Quavo responded, look, as my host, there she go. Look, she just sips the tea on that
so not
note.
on purpose. I promise. That was just
So,
that
hey,
was a coincidence.
total coincidence, people.
Total
It wasn't even intentional. Quavo on the 2018 NBA All-Star Celebrity Game MVP, he got wind of Chris Brown's taunt and didn't back down. He said, and I quote, Chris Brown ain't cooking nothing. The Migos rapper posted on his IG story, call next, and nigga, you know. Oh,
man.
oh, I see. Quavo is
There's
not
one thing
afraid.
about Chris Brown, man. He gonna he gonna call out some shit.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Because right as soon as he said that, Chris Brown was quick to respond to Quavo and said,
Yes.
"It ain't no next. I'm on now. Set it up, little nigga." And he posted on top of that, you know this work different. Me and Austin McBroom versus the little boys.
A
So,
mess.
Man,
ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not. We have a basketball war on our hands in the midst of Quavo versus Chris Brown. So, NBA Street, and one,
mm,
somebody, anybody, televise this because based off the trash talk and promotional alone, ladies and gentlemen, I
yeah.
think you have a one-on-one or two versus two game of a lifetime
Mm,
amongst two celebrities. Don't know if we'll see a future feature between these two anytime soon. Then again, hey, it's competitive
It's friendly
testosterone at its finest.
competition.
Yeah, it's a little friendly competition. Who knows, right? Uh, Care to weigh in on any of this, guys? How y'all feeling about this friendly, competitive trash talk between
I like
two?
it.
You like it? Love it?
I like it. That's
um,
that's that's why I play spades. The my goal is to shit talk the entire Spades game. It's fun. It's just a part of the game.
I agree. I totally agree. Spades is a very, very phenomenal game. I remember I sucked at it completely, but when you play with certain people, they make you
They gonna
great.
teach you some things, yeah.
They're gonna teach you some things. You know what I'm saying? What's some good friendly competition? So shout out to Quavo, shout out to Chris Brown. You just never know who and what you're gonna see, especially around this time of year of All Star Weekend. Also, one quick thing to also add: we have a certain rapper who made his I believe his on-screen debut of some sorts or cameo, even if you will. Certain boss-like rapper by the name of Rick Ross, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
Coming to America 2 was released on Amazon Prime Video. A lot of people have been talking about it, giving their thoughts and opinions on how they feel about the long-awaited sequel to a very classic original movie. And we saw Mr. Rick Ross himself cameo in this movie. So I must ask, guys, what did you think of Mr. Ross's debut of some sorts on the screen? How did you like it? Do you want to see more of him, or how did that feel to you?
I don't know. I think I'm cool with the cameo. Like I don't know if I expect to see Rick Ross have like a full monologue or like a or like a dramatic role. But I think Coming to America 2 as a whole, I think people went into it with very high expectations because of what the first one is, and it's a classic. And sometimes you don't want to feel like a sequel is cheesy. It was cheesy a little bit, but it was good to me. It was nice seeing everybody get back together and like the different cameos. And sometimes I think a all star or a star studded cast can seem a little forced, but they did a good job. I really enjoyed
Indeed.
it.
Indeed. Spec, you got anything to add to that, my brother?
Unfortunately, I have not seen the movie yet.
Boo, no,
Look,
I'm just
bro,
joking.
there I was trying to get the free trial and then try to see the movie, but it didn't work out like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pay my money.
Wow. Listen, I totally understand, my brother. Listen, there's no need, all good, you know what I mean? But it was cool to, kind of be like, oh, looky, look who it is, Mr. Ricky Rose. You know what I mean?
And
Decked
he
out.
did a good African accent. Shout out to him with the accent coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who knew?
I
Who
heard it
knew?
was it was shot inside of his estate though.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
pretty
man,
cool.
that's the biggest cameo right there. Like
Right.
one of the biggest movies in America or in general in the world is shot inside of your. That's gonna live forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's
And that's what it's all about, right? You know what I'm saying? Forever young to the sundown, you know what I mean? So we'll get into that one. Ladies and gentlemen, shameless plug at a Spec 2 Dope original saying. We'll get more into that
right.
a little later.
Go ahead and hashtag that.
but yeah, man. So that about wraps up our entertainment portion of this right here. And
I have I have something I want to
do
add.
go
So,
ahead.
a couple of things. Did we talk about, speaking of like rappers transitioning into other like things in sports? Did we ever talk about Bow Wow wanting to do wrestling?
Oh, you know what? I am so glad you brought that up. Let's actually talk about that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for reminding me.
No, I thought we could do it.
Not only is Bow Wow the conversation of the wrestling community, but ladies and gentlemen, there's one by the name of Soldier Boy as well, who is in a confrontation with a lot of pro wrestlers. Ladies and gentlemen, so it's a long list. So let's just start with Bow Wow here, okay? So uh, lately, Bow Wow decided to post that he was working on an album, and once he finished this final album, this last album, he wanted to resume his career onto other things. He wanted to try out other things, and one of those other things was that he said he wanted to be in the WWE. He was his dream to be in the WWE. He's always wanted to try to step in the ring, and he also said me and Rey Mysterio versus whoever for the WWE Tag Team Championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it is legit to a degree because when Bow Wow was Lil Bow Wow, he was pretty frequently at a lot of the WWF events in the golden era that everybody knows on a mainstream level. Now, Bow Wow then somehow went from tweeting all of these random tweets about the WWE to getting into disputes with different WWE superstars because WWE superstars these days use the Twitter platform to kind of get creative with promos. Sometimes it's legit and sometimes it's just for, you know, television, if you will, just to kind of expand the character a little bit, right? Now, Bow Wow has managed to blur the lines because it's come to a point where some of these wrestlers were playfully getting with them to where other wrestlers, both employed by WWE and those who were not employed by the WWE, maybe they were just, independent wrestlers or wrestlers with other promotions who were going back and forth with Bow Wow in a Twitter war to where Bow Wow was just saying things such as, if you never main evented or if you never had a WWE diva or if you never did this or that, don't talk to me, bro. Or hey man, you got WWE got this amount of followers and you work for WWE and I got more followers than you. How is that possible? Just tweeting random things like that. So now he's stirring up things. And as a person who is a wrestling fan, I'm here to let you guys know that the wrestling fans are a lot like, oh boy, let's see. They're a lot like
Oh boy.
they're a lot like the Beehive. There we go. They're a lot like the Beehive. You know how the Beehive will attack a whole set of people who try to come at Beyonce? That's wrestling fans when it comes to the WWE. Okay, so anytime you try to enter their world, they're quick to get some type of way to defend. And so somehow Bow Wow gets back and forth with all these people, and then out of nowhere, I guess his buddy Soldier Boy decides to get into this.
Soldier Boy Tone.
So Soldier Boy, wow, I mean that right there is just in its own right, just yeah, it's a little weird. But Soldier Boy found himself tweeting to pro wrestlers and found himself getting into it with pro wrestlers quite often, where one in particular is a current WWE star and legend in Randy Orton, ladies and gentlemen, where they go back and forth. And Randy Orton actually calls him a bitch ass,
No
which,
way.
you know,
Let's
Randy
settle
Orton
it in
calls
the ring
Soldier.
at this point.
Yeah. That's been the joke of the matter so far. Now, Bow Wow, ladies and gentlemen, tweeted before this war that Soldier Boy jumped in. Bow Wow actually says that he's currently training with WWE legend Rikishi, currently in California, I believe. So, so as you can see, with Specs, he's training with WWE superstar Rikishi. If you're not a WWE fan, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you go look up Rikishi. Okay, that is look up Rikishi and then you tell me that's the man that's training Bow Wow. Okay, which again, there's no disrespect to Rikishi because Rikishi is a phenomenal talent, a man of his size. He comes from an amazing family, a family that is also tied into what Dwayne The Rock Johnson is a part of. So the Samoan dynasty is rich. Okay, very athletic people for their size. Trust me, don't let the size fool you. But what Rikishi's most commercially known for, if you look him up and you're not a casual WWE fan, just look
How
up
do you
Rikishi.
spell it?
Rikishi, RIKI. Yeah, there you go. RIKISHI. And when you look up Rikishi, look, there you go. You look up Rikishi and you see he's a very large man and he has a lot of backside. And well, let's just say that backside has made him very, very famous over the years. So
Hilarious.
Bow Wow will be getting trained by that large individual right there. And it's going to be interesting to see if we see this man actually step foot into the squared circle, if you will. To those who don't already know, we've seen the likes of Kevin Federline, Shaquille O'Neal just made his debut into the professional wrestling ring and did actually quite phenomenal. Snoop Dogg has stepped into the ring and he's done probably one of the most god awful frog splashes you could ever do to man. You've seen the likes of goodness. I mean, so many people have MGK to a degree kind of stepped into the ring. Not really. He was power bombed off a stage, but
Mm.
kind of knows how that feels. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing new. A lot of people have done this before. So Soldier Boy insulted a lot of wrestling fans. He's called it fake and things of that nature. But unfortunately, the biggest mistake amongst wrestling fans is that they allowed this guy to come back into relevancy because Soldier Boy kind of just trolled.
Oh, he
And
gonna do that. He's gonna
yeah,
do that.
he's gonna do
I
that.
have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know wrestling. I'm not a wrestling fan, so I'm not familiar with the community.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke about the WWE or the WWF, like the golden age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, do you feel like the scene is still high, or are you, or as a wrestling fan, are you more so holding on to the nostalgia of the golden age?
It's a good question. When I say golden age, see, wrestling had its rock star state. In the
Right.
'90s and to some degree mid 2000s, it was at its peak, and it was one of those things where everybody and their mama watched it. Even if you weren't the most hardcore wrestling fan, you knew somebody or you had a group of friends who were highly into it. And over time, it just died down because it got old. Either you outgrew it or it just wasn't really funny anymore after a certain point in time. And you have people like myself who have stuck with it over the years because you're still just a legit fan. But when I say golden age, of course, it was star studded. Today it's not as star studded, mainly because of the management. But again, that's a whole different conversation, ladies and gentlemen, because this is past Ox. That's something you can check out on Life's a Botch if you want to get more in detail on that. But to answer my co-host's question, yes, it was one of those things where it's not what it used to be, of course, by a long shot. But you know, it seems that the WWE, especially in this pandemic era with no fans, things like using Soldier Boy, using Bow Wow, using Bad Bunny, all of these people who are, apparently Cardi B as well. I forgot to mention her because she somehow even got into the mix of some stuff with one of the female talents at one point. Now, that female talent she got into it with is currently pregnant, legitimately now. So, don't really know if they're going to try to go that route anymore, but who knows? Don't be surprised if you see Cardi B stepping foot into a WWE ring at this point. It seems like a lot of celebrities are finding their way there, and mostly because there's no touring right now. So they have a lot of time. I mean, Bad Bunny has been on television there for the past month now, almost. And it looks like going into WrestleMania, which is their biggest show of the year, most likely Bad Bunny's going to step into the ring and probably actually wrestle somewhat. Maybe do a spot or two. So it's one of those things, man. It's interesting to see. They seem desperate for ratings. So who brings
Yeah,
ratings? Guys like Bow Wow, guys like
rappers.
Soldier Boy. When you're finding out, like, even if you're not a wrestling fan, just to know, like, this fool's gonna step into a ring, you
Yeah.
want to see him get his butt whooped, right? So it's one of those things, man. You'll see what happens. But WWE is no stranger to celebs in wrestling. It's happened for years, and it's gonna continually happen going forth. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Cuzzo, because I almost forgot about that more so because of the Soldier Boy beef as of late. So Soldier Boy, man, talk about a guy hiding from fake game systems, and now all of a sudden you want
Mm.
to beef with wrestlers. So it's very interesting how people will do what they need to do to get relevance again all of a sudden, or put them faces in the spotlight. So I don't know, but
Dwayne,
that
I
might.
feel
I don't know. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? But again, feel free to check out Pastor Ox. I'll give you all the details, even more on that. This is a music show, of course. So I hope I didn't talk you guys' ear off with that knowledge. But yeah, shout out to Bow Wow and Soldier Boy. I guess they for whatever reason having Twitter wars with wrestlers right now. So have fun with that. But I guess if we moved on for sure from here. I don't really have. Normally, I would give you guys a history segment, but right now, no albums are celebrating any particular birthdays right now, unless producer Derek has something that I didn't know about. But
Can we talk about for the history portion? I've been seeing, I guess there's a new Biggie doc on Netflix.
oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and let's get into that. What? How were your thoughts on it?
Unpopular opinion, I think I'm cool. Like, I just feel like, with all due respect, like how many documentaries are we gonna make about Pac and Biggie? Like, if y'all aren't telling me that y'all have found the killer and like this person's going to jail, like, let them rest in peace.
You know,
You know what? You know what I think it is. I think that is more so for, and I can't say that specifically because I haven't seen the documentary and the previews and that nature. But I think that if I was to redo a documentary on something like that, it would be for the new generation because we still got new artists, and it's hard to like. Remember when we was in school and we had to watch like those real old documentaries, and you could tell it was old. You
Yeah.
feel me? So I think it would be a lot more beneficial to make a new documentary to modernize the information and the way that they put the information together. But if it's not that, then I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah, that makes sense.
totally agreed. Spec, I like how you said that. I was actually going to probably touch on and say the same thing.
Yeah.
That's about all I can really say is that they probably had to do this for a modern day generation. We see that with just about almost everything. I mean, look at how many movies then had remakes over the years. Each movie is for each generation, right? Look at the Star Wars movies. You got the original 80s Star Wars lovers, who were like, no, that's the Star Wars. That's the real Star Wars, right? And then you got the modern day ones that some people say aren't that good, but to a generation growing up in today that didn't know about those, they love these modern day Star Wars movies. So it's one of those things where, for a youngin, uh, in that moment, if you hear so much about Biggie, you want to learn more about Biggie, you're gonna check that doc out and you're gonna say, okay, I want to know about this guy because I didn't come up in his era. And then eventually you'll probably check out some of the newer ones. But yeah, I don't know. With Biggie and Tupac, I do agree also with what you say, cuz like how many more can you do? I mean, I guess for us, it's like, hey, we've seen this a million times. You've got shows like Unsolved. There's so many different lanes and methods you could take it to where you're like, after a while, it's got to run out, right? There's only so
Right,
many different
right.
times you can retell the story.
What are we talking about? Yeah.
But
I
I
got
guess, yeah, if you're one out there who hasn't already learned about Biggie, then it's definitely a watch. It's definitely something to check out. Probably have to do a breakdown on it, but again, it's one of those things where we kind of already know what we know about Biggie, what we know about Pac. So again, if it's not revealing the killer at this point, it doesn't really matter
Well, just go
much.
watch one of the other 157 documentaries or shows that have been done about them.
Exactly. Not to mention the biopics, right? Because the
Yeah.
biopics, in their own right, have already told us what we needed to know, on the mainstream level of things. So, hey, some did justice more than others, but that's neither here nor there, right?
Right.
Uh, but Spec, sir, my
what's
man,
good, bro.
we are here to bring you up, my friend. Tell the people about who Spec Too Dope is, where he comes from, what makes him who he is.
Yes.
Well, in so many words, Spec Too Dope is an artist. This artist is from Louisiana. He is a producer. He is a rapper. He is an engineer. He is a writer for others, and just a overall creative person in general. You know, I just love music. I love what I do. So that's really about it. It ain't too much to it.
Okay, okay. What got you into wanting to create music? Like, where does your background of music come from?
Got you. All right. So my dad was a DJ, right? He was a DJ for a couple of radio stations out here in Lake Charles. So, in a sense, I was kind of like always in the studio because if you ever been to a radio station, that's a big studio. My uncle, a couple of my uncles actually, they were recording artists. The one that actually taught me was my mom's brother. He had Fruity Loops. He was a rapper. He was doing shows out here in Louisiana. I think he was opening up for like big artists like Pimp C and stuff like that. So, just seeing that as a kid, I was always on my little piano. Even at church, I was playing the drums type thing. So I was like, man, when I get old enough, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. And then, once I got in high school, my uncle finally taught me how to make beats, and it was over from there.
Love it. Love it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've made quite an impact for sure over the years. I know when we met, it was definitely one of those things, man, where you've had a lot of styles. You've migrated to a lot of
Yeah.
different states and cities. Like, what caused a lot of migration and like your direction of basically creating building these new friendships and being able to put yourself out there and learn the game of what it took to become a rap artist. Like, what got you to that lane?
Got you. So for me, it was really hard in my city in my state, music wise, because out here is mostly workers. We don't have a lot of creative people or a lot of creative platforms. So I traveled a lot because I wanted to be able to, reach those platforms and be able to market my music differently and things of that nature. I didn't feel like I would be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve in my city and state. So I moved around a lot. I went back and forth from Atlanta back to Louisiana, only coming back home because, you get homesick. I miss my family and my friends and things of that nature, but definitely love the city of Atlanta. I had some of my greatest memories out there, and my career really, really, really started and took off out there. So yeah, I really felt like it was important to travel until, of course, the pandemic changed everything. So now you could pretty much be the biggest artist wherever you want to be. So,
Mm, love
yeah,
it, man. Love it. Love it. Um, so let's take a trip down memory lane, my friend.
yeah,
You and me, um, one of our first major collabs together
mm-hmm.
was a song that you
Mm-hmm.
produced, of course, by the name of Christians in the Building. And
Right, right,
a lot of people don't know that that was actually originally your song that
right.
you sent over to me. And that was a song that you wrote in a place where at a time you were incredibly on fire for God at the time. You were
Yeah,
really in a completely different place at that time. And
right.
what looking back, especially with
Mm.
how much you've grown and with what you've learned from a track like that, what are some of the things that you admire most about a track like that?
The energy, man. I just remember the mindset towards everything. Like when when I was in that place, this is like when I first Okay, so first and foremost, let's go back. I've always been in the church, right? I've been in church my whole life. I was born like not literally like pushed out, but like I was born in the church. Like my family was always in the church every Sunday. You know, whenever they got the rehearsals and all of that, like my stepmom, she played in the church, so we lived, slept in the church type thing. So always being there, of course, you're in the presence of God. Now going into college, becoming my own man, is when I started having my own walk. You know, I didn't have people taking me back and forth to church. I was walking to church. I was skateboarding to church. When I got my car, I was driving to church. You know, like I'm really seeking God out for myself. So right before I made that song, or maybe like a year or so before I made that song, is like when I really, really, really had like a face to face encounter with God.
Mm.
So, you know, it was a whole different type of energy. Like imagine knowing somebody but like really getting to know them for the first time. Like it was really, really exciting. So I was definitely on fire. I was definitely like just in a different space in general. Like that was kind of like one of the best moments of my life, honestly. Yeah.
Love it, man, love it. And it's definitely again great to see growth. That
Mhm.
definitely was a classic song that
Yeah.
testified a lot. And tell the people the inspiration behind Christians in the building in terms of letting people know, I wrote a song for the Christians. In the
Yeah.
studio, I make a song for my Christians. I put it on for my Christians. Like tell the people what made you come up with that from that time.
Well, I just felt like we needed an anthem, honestly. I felt like we needed something that we could dance to, that we can enjoy to, that we didn't like, it felt like club music, but it was what it was. It was worship. You know what I mean? And I was adamant about having it. You know, I needed that for my spirit, for my soul specifically. So that I could walk around, I could skateboard or whatever the case may be to that. And, it felt good. It felt right.
Yes, Spec the skateboarder. Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up, sir. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's
Yeah,
talk about that skateboard side,
yeah.
man. One of the many things that make up Spec and who he is. Where did the skateboarding come from? Like, where most times people going through a phase,
Mhm.
where they were like, oh yeah, in the mid 2000s, the Avril Lavigne and the Good Charlotte
Later,
and
boy. Yes.
My Chemical Romance days, you know what I'm saying? Like you find yourself skateboarding and trying to be a skateboard, skater, kick push Lupe Fiasco, all those different songs that just made you feel like I want to skateboard. Like what got you into it and what got you to stick with it to this day?
Yeah, so what happened was college college days, I had came back to Louisiana. I was going to this college called Sewella for aviation. Can you believe I was about to work on planes, bro? Like for real, I was really about to. I was gonna be fixing your plane. And you'll be flying them. But anyway, um, I linked back up with a cousin of mine, and I made him my protege because he had Fruity Loops at his house. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna teach you how to do these things. And we was working every day, and he pulled out a skateboard. Now I'm from Louisiana, right? And this is
Mhm.
this is maybe like right around the time where Wayne like first started skateboarding type thing. So I'm from Louisiana. We ain't never seen about it. I'm in the country, right? We got horses, cows, everything. So I
Mhm.
never seen nobody skateboard like a black guy ever, right?
Mhm.
Dude hopped on the skateboard, and I was like, man, that looks really, really fun. So let me try it. I was like, go ahead, teach me how to do it. He was like, I can't teach you. All you got to do is just hop on, and it's gonna happen. I hopped on. I fell a couple of times, and after that, man, I fell in love with it. It was almost like a sense of peace, like some type of meditation type thing. You know, like when you go on a walk on a good day, it's definitely like that. It's definitely like that.
I love it. I love it. Co-host, did you ever
Yeah.
find yourself in the skateboard phase by any chance?
No, I like to wear Vans, but that's about it. My brother's a skateboarder. I definitely I can understand how it can be like it's exercise for one, but it is also something about the kick push and like feeling the wind and like the breeze. I can imagine it to be soothing almost.
Yeah.
That- that's a real cool thing. Tell me, did you have you ever come up with cool songs while you skateboard?
So I've come up with albums while I skateboard. Actually, so
Nice.
my series, I have the Land Yacht series. We got Land Yacht Sunset, Land Yacht Sunrise, and Land Yacht the Silver Edition. Now, if you don't know what a land yacht is a super long skateboard. It's pretty much like a snowboard, but it's a skateboard. Um, yeah, as I was riding one day, um, the idea came to me because I was riding in the sunset actually, and I was like, I want something that represents me. What do I
Hmm.
do all the time? You know, of course I make beats, but I don't want it to be like, okay, land yacht. So I just designed the album off of that, and I kind of wanted to make that the the theme music to all the skaters and things of that nature. You know, like I love what I do, so I wanted to put the music around it.
Absolutely, bro. I love it. I love it, man. That's pretty cool, to see, like true skateboarders who
Mm.
can come up with projects, off of
Yeah,
that. Yet along
yeah,
actually, get inspired while also relaxing and doing something that relaxes them in the process, next to
yeah.
music. So that's always good
Mm.
to see. Now let's get into fast forwarding to the evolution of spec to present day, and let's
Mhm.
look at a lot of the singles, man. So you and I definitely recently collabed again not too long ago and released a
Okay.
song entitled "Know What I'm Saying," and
Yeah,
it really showcased more of your growth and being able to show today's vibe, going from being super lyrical to being able to go with today's wave and vibe of vibing with a song while still kind of finding a way to be lyrical. Talk about your
yeah,
transition on how that evolved over the years for you.
yeah. So I think that that transition was kind of rough for me because, like you said, I grew up on pure hip hop. Like when I say my dad was a DJ, and mind you, we're in Louisiana. Like I grew up on Nas, DMX, Jay Z, Scarface, like real rappers, like not no auto tune type stuff or no funny cadence, just trying to sound cool on the beat type thing, like real bars. So
Hmm.
one thing that I know as a producer is how to adapt and how to evolve because as a producer, you are the leader, but you do also have to follow. People want a certain type of style, certain type of music and things of that nature. So I always try to be on my toes and be able to adapt and meet people's needs. So I really thought that it was important to kind of embrace the culture of the new wave of music and still try to be able to bring the bars and be creative and witty as you rap. That's like really important to like the purist. So I wanted to make sure I touched all bases.
Speaking of touching all bases, you kind of come as a package deal. You produce and like you engineer, you're also an artist. So like
Yeah.
which role do you feel like is harder to penetrate the industry with?
To penetrate the in yeah.
Or maybe not
So
penetrate, but like to be introduced into the industry.
right. So I think it is harder for Spec the producer,
Okay.
only because it's the vision that I have for Spec the producer. Like when I think of Spec the producer, I think of him as a Timberland. You know what I mean? Like as a Metro Boomin, as like the biggest artists ever. But the thing about these artists is they're big because of the records that they made with other artists. What I did for Spec Producer is I wanted to make him his own artist, but as a producer, if you get what I'm saying. Almost like, how can I say it? Almost like DJ Khaled,
Mhm.
but you know, not on a level to where I'm like speaking over other records. Like this is all production because each one of the albums, like the Lanyard series, is all beats. It's no lyrics. My songs that I rap on, they're on the side, they're singles. But I wanted to make sure that I put the producer up first because you never really see too many superstar producers at this time. You know what I mean? Like the one that I can really think of, the one that's kind of doing it the way that I'm thinking about doing it is Metro. But Metro Boomin still isn't doing it exactly the way that I'm thinking about doing it because he's still doing it with other artists, like building albums with other artists. Spake Too Dope is
Mm.
just that's just straight production, just straight beats, but it's my album type thing.
Mhm.
And that's really different. That's I'm not gonna say that's a whole new market because there's other artists that do it, but that market isn't as known as if you was just a hip hop artist and you was presenting a full song. It's a lot more difficult to just present just a beat, if you get what I'm saying.
For sure.
Love it,
Yeah.
love it. Now,
Mhm.
you also mentioned now that you mentioned the separate projects, let's talk about
Mhm.
some of those singles, man. Speak for Myself.
Yeah.
Tell the people what that song was about. What inspired Speak for Myself?
Because I just feel like I am still a man of faith. First and foremost, I am still a man of faith. So whenever I do rap, of course I give you personal experiences and everything isn't God this and God that, unfortunately, because I do fall short. But
Mm.
I feel like as a man of faith, I still require that. And a lot of people can't speak for me because they don't require that in their music. That's not part of their standard. Their standard is selling what sells, and I got a higher standard in that, so I got to speak for myself.
Mm.
Hmm.
I love it. I love it, man. The artwork for sure signifies
Yeah.
a lot about that as well, man. So that's definitely something that makes people definitely on first sight want to check that out. Now let's talk about your collab, and you collabed with
Hmm.
S1K. So how did
Yeah.
this partnership form? Like how did that come about?
All right. So this one is actually it's a weird story. So he is not usually the type of artist that I would try to work with because I do work with a lot of secular artists, but I try my best not to work with like super gangster rappers type thing. You feel me? Just because of my own personal image and like what I'm trying to uphold. But
Mm.
this is actually my sister's boyfriend, going to be fiance, hopefully, type thing. But
And
I
hint,
was
cough,
like,
cough,
okay,
wink, wink.
right. So I was like, all right, bro, you make music, so I want to make sure that if you do it, then we're gonna do it to the highest degree type thing.
Mhm.
So when I got there, we started working together, and we just vibed. He taught me a lot of things, and I taught him a lot of things as well. So I like working with him. I like his mindset. I like his growth. Even though he is a gangster rapper, like he is a family man. He's about music for sure, and I think he's definitely getting on a different track. So I wanted to make sure that I was a part of that path for him. You know what I mean? And then sometimes we're the only guy that people get to see. So working with him was definitely like it was a God thing for sure.
And you also produced a lot of the work that you did with him as well, correct?
Yeah. So the single that we just put out, I did not produce everything.
Mhm.
Shania produced that. There's a song called Spec on the Beat. I produced that. It's another song that we had dropped called man, see now you about to make me go through the list, bro. I'll be having so much music. I'll be forgetting what's going on.
That's
but
how it
I'm on
is.
here right now. You feel me? But I've definitely produced Spec on the beat. We had another song that we had dropped. I'm trying to remember. I don't know, bro. I dropped a lot of stuff in them, bro. But
Love
most
it.
of the songs that we do, I do end up not only producing but engineering as well.
Love it. Love it.
What is
Definitely.
the difference between engineering and producing?
Yeah, so engineering is the guy who actually records the song, kind of gives it like a basic mix if he has that knowledge, and then a producer is the person who actually makes the beat.
Love it. Love it.
Taking notes, got it.
Taking notes. There you go. Excellent question, Cuzzo. Because a lot of times people do try to put those as one and one. A lot of times,
Right.
not knowing there is a clear cut difference for sure. And a lot of people don't know, even with a producer,
Mm-hmm.
that even artists are producers even when they don't make music because they may know how they want a particular song to sound. So they build with their producer,
Mhm.
making them a producer in a way, in a much different light. They may not be able to physically construct the beat, but they know in their
Mm-hmm.
head with the song that they have how they want it to sound, what they want to come out, what instruments they want in it, all those types of things, which makes them a producer in some sorts as well. So always know that, kids. There's always many, many titles that you can list under your repertoire. So it's pretty cool to expand. Um, so let's talk about the fact. Continuing with you and S1K, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in games hosted by the game. You
Yeah,
guys managed to have a single, be a part of that mixtape hosted by the one and only the game. So how did they come about? What's been the hype behind that song ever since dropping it, man?
bro, it's so weird. Like, all right, so I was on Instagram one day and it was the middle of the night and I got a text and I was like, "What's good, G? I see you working." And I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, "All right, somebody's scamming me. This ain't the game." So I hit my mom's up. I hit my pops up in the morning, and I was like, "Yo, the game just hit me up," and he was like, congratulate me on working. They was like, "All right, cool. Just be careful. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's tax season." I said, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
So I get another message, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I got this project that we doing. I want to put you down. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the third. We can work it out like this." I said, "All right." He talking business now. So I make the call again. I'm like, "Mama, I don't know. I think this was it." And she like, "Boy, the game ain't looking at blah, 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 blah." I'm like, "All right, all right, all right. It's tax season. I get it." Boom. So I hit bro back up and I'm like, "Hey man, you gotta FaceTime me or something like that, bro, man. People be scamming this, that, and the third. Like, I'm not with it." And he like, "Man, look, bro, I got a lot of stuff going on, blah blah blah. I can't do it right now. I ain't got the time like that, but this is for sure thing." So I said, "All right, cool." I did the business and this, then the third, and shoot, man, I got the link. I got some new artwork done because we already had the song released. But I had got some new artwork done because I wanted to have a first of all a different feel and just to be like a proper re-release if we was gonna do it with the game. I wanted to be legit. But yeah, man, I got the link and our songs on the album. Like the reaction from my close fans, like my fans and family and stuff like that, man, it's been phenomenal, dog. Like I'm still in awe. Like I really try not to fan out about that, but like that was one of the biggest moves I made this year for sure.
Love it, man. I love it. Major congrats, first and
Yeah.
Man,
foremost. And again, that's definitely shout out to moms because that's definitely some type of slogan of some sort. It's tax season.
Hey,
Remember
put it on a
that.
t-shirt.
They out here flexing. It's tax season.
Right, it's tax season.
Alone. Don't trust it. It's tax season. Just whatever you need, however you want to word it, my friend. That
Yeah.
definitely fits. But you know, what's next for Spec to Dope
I
given
am
this
so
major move?
glad you asked that. not giving. I'm not gonna say giving this major move. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be music coming out. I'm always working. I'm a creator. I love creating. I love being ahead of the curve, having new vibes. So, more singles. Definitely a rap album this year. No cap. Rap album this year. Highlight me and you got to get together. I'm calling you out while we on this call. You got to be on the album. Ain't no way I'm putting out the album if you're not on it, bro. I will shut the whole project down. I promise. For real.
Absolutely,
But
brother. Absolutely.
yeah, really, what's next for Spec? I'm working on my TV show. Not actually a TV show, but an anime. That's my focus.
That's
And the
lit.
reason, yeah, the reason I'm working on that is to push the music to another platform. Like, I think I have a couple of songs that actually reach TV. I would have to go back through and research that. But me and this girl, this singer, her name is Joy. We've been sending tracks out to get placements and stuff like that. But going through that process, it was just like I can wait on another platform to pick my music the way that I was waiting on these rappers to pick my music. Or I can get some materials together, get some people together, and we can create our own platform. So I took some time and I've been doing this raw. I've been doing this so raw. Like I've been drawing stick people and everything to like come up with the dialogue and the sketches and everything, just trying to get it figured out and just bouncing ideas off of people. And I say maybe like 3 to 5 years down the line, that's my goal. Drop the anime, release the music on a different level, on a different platform, and just dabble into a different market.
Love it, brother. Love it. So what was the inspiration behind wanting to create an anime?
Bro, I watch anime all the time. For real. But because like even when I'm making my beats, actually, before I get into that, when you was asking me about the inspiration behind music.
Hmm.
So like you said, you went back and you was checking out the soundtracks to Soul and things of that nature. I've always been into soundtracks. Like video games have soundtracks. I would go through that. Movies have soundtracks. I would go through that and sample those and flip those. So, I've been inspired by like especially Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z producer back in the day. I think his name was Bruce Faulkner or something like that. But all his
Hmm.
stuff, like I would listen to that as a kid, and then I would get on the piano, not knowing how to play the piano, but getting on the piano and like trying to play it or whatever, bro. But I've always been inspired by that, so I was like, okay, if I can take the inspiration and create music, why can't I take the inspiration and create a whole show? Like a lot of people go into reality TV and things of that nature. I didn't want to take that route. I wanted to do it different.
Love it, brother. I love it. That is awesome. And to those who don't know, side note, this brother, who I should have mentioned in the intro, is also the genius and mastermind behind one of my most popular EPs, many would say, in Prayer Warrior. So if you
Yeah,
follow a lot of my music and you check out the Prayer Warrior EP, it's a nice little EP with the colorful image of a nice little ninja with in a prayer stance. You can't miss it. Nice cartoon, and it's also got one of the I guess you could say the hit single of anime. Speaking of
man.
animes,
What?
which also was
What?
produced by this man right here.
Kid. See how that's what you call prolific, right? If I'm
Mhm.
using the right words, like, bruh, that's crazy. Like, that's super crazy. I didn't even think about it.
See, you see, it just goes to show, man. That's look, exactly. That's how that goes. That's how that works. But for sure, brother, we're looking forward to a lot of the ventures that you have going
Mm.
on, and definitely a lot in that entrepreneurial like mind of yours, sir. You got a lot
Yeah.
that is in works, a lot that you're doing. I know we're definitely looking forward to checking out what you got coming out, and definitely would love to have some of your music featured in our plugged in series so that we can let the people know, let them hear what is behind the name of Spec. You know what I'm saying? So that they can actually check you out, So be sure to submit that for sure, so that people can definitely listen on our sister show. But yeah, let's see. Cuzzo, co-host, you have anything you would like to ask before we get ready to wrap this thing on up and let our boy Spec head out this evening?
Yeah, so we couldn't have you on the show without us addressing the fans battle because that's who our OTS audience was really introduced to you by. And a lot of people have had a lot to say, so we have to let you speak for yourself and how that battle went. And because you did break it down for us post production of how, or maybe even on the show, how you entered it from a producer standpoint and like you wanted to introduce us to some new things. How do you feel the battle went? Would you have done anything differently?
So I went back and I watched that video a couple of times
A
because
couple.
I wanted to know what I did wrong, and I wanted to be prepared for the next battle because believe me, it's gonna be another one. I stand on the songs that I picked. I think if anything, I would have played Poppin', sure. I don't know why I didn't think about that song. But the songs that I picked, I think they were great songs. Like even when I went back and I listened to his hits, I was just like, now these songs hit a little bit harder. Like of course, like initial shock value, I get it. But like as a producer and as a fan in general, because it's called fan. As a fan, those are songs that I'm a fan of. So I had to rock with those songs.
Oh man, that
That makes
that
sense.
just goes to show. I see again. What's respectful about you and your list selection for sure is that a you chose to stick with it more than anything. Not once did you consider an audible until like maybe just one song later in the battle, but for the most part you stood the test of time and you managed to give different perspectives of, like you said, what it means to truly be a fan by sticking
Yeah,
to songs that you felt were your personal favorite top 13 Chris Brown songs.
yeah,
So you really opened up a different door and a different perspective in this fans battle that
yeah,
definitely has a lot of people who step into the arena, hint hint, for future reference, to consider a few things when stepping into the battle. So it's just a few things to take into account there when going into a fans battle. Understanding that there's more to an individual than just their hit potential most times. So that being
What are the
said,
fans gonna say?
what
yeah.
are the fans gonna say? That is a good question.
Sips tea.
Have y'all thought about who y'all gonna use for your next battle? Like as far as the artist?
So
Mm-hmm.
word on
A
the
little
street
birdie has said,
that
Right.
there's two iconic individuals.
Mm-hmm.
One East Coast, one West Coast. That no longer are with us, but definitely still mega influential and impactful stars. One who of which we talked about a little earlier in the show. Word on the street is that they're the next up battle. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because I think you might want to tune in for sure with these two individual artists. I can't give it away if I haven't already because it has to be official. We're very well close to it, but when it's
Mm-hmm.
official, trust me when I say the rest of the world will definitely know. But there's a battle amongst battles that is yet to be announced that will happen at some point, and when it does, just know one artist is going to outdo the other very
Right.
fittingly. But uh, you know,
You
um,
already picking sides.
hey, well, kind of have to a little bit, brother. You kind of have to, sometimes,
"Got to do the
certain
trash
things.
talk for it is for entertainment purposes.
It's
It gets the people going.
Gets the people going. You got to show your showmanships. Flex your guns. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Get your Conor McGregor on a little bit. But nonetheless, people. Again, we definitely have to thank Mr. Spec for sure for stepping into the pass the ox stage, if you will, and allowing us to pass the ox to him to share you into his world, to show you what makes Spec Too Dope the entity that he is. And by all means, please, Spec, tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and look up your music and stuff when they want to check out your beats and your music.
Word. Yeah. So it's Spec Too Dope on everything, on every single platform. If you want to hear the music, even on PSN, just add an extra E to Spec Too Dope, and I will kick your butt on Dragon Ball Z Fighters. Anything else, don't even talk to me about it.
Come on. I love it, brother. I love it. I love it. See,
Yeah.
and that's a good aspect because to those who don't know, he is also a gamer when you need him to be. So that is definitely something to check out for sure. So that being said, well, you guys already know what time it is. Well, without further ado, Queen, go ahead and lay the foundation. Let the people know what's coming up. Let them know where they can find you. All that good stuff. The usual.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Nina Soul, Nina with 2 I's, Soul is SOL. Link in bio. I think that's so corny, but links in bio has everything in there.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And you already know, man. Follow your boy on Instagram at Dwayne Diggy Jr. On Highlight Life on Twitter. And of course, most importantly, make sure you follow OTS Guys on all platforms. OTS Guys on Twitter, OTS Guys on Instagram. And now, thanks to you guys who have been subscribing so faithfully to the YouTube, you can now officially follow us at youtube.com/OTS Guys. Or you can just type on the sidelines. Because of you guys continually subscribing, we're now the first to pop up on the list. So either way you put it, make sure you are following the channel. You can check out this awesome show. You can check out What Did I Think About This Week. You can check out Plugged In. You can check out Realish. You can check out so many Fanz battles. You know what I mean? You can check out so much that is coming, that is here. A lot. We Can Be Heroes. The list goes on of how many amazing shows are right here under this OTS Media Production roster. So, without further ado, well, you already know what time it is, man. This is where the people get ready to just vibe out. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do, live how we live. I'd like to thank you for joining us. I know my co-host would like to thank you for joining us.
Gracias.
You know what I'm saying? Sipping the tea, smoking a hookah, letting you know more than Luca what time it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we want to say peace, chicken grease, and well, the ox has officially been passed to you. So until next time, baby, we are out.